Hey you guys, it's me Adamdashawn with another video. You guys, so this video is going to be discussing a little bit of the darker side of nursing. Some of the issues that is currently plaguing the nursing community as of today. I wanted to touch on a lot of these topics within this video, but it's a lot of topics and I just thought that I would make them all in one inclusive video just because the topic is so broad that I could make a whole bunch of topics within one video. And these are just some things that I've been experiencing over the last 14 years of nursing. Those of you guys who have followed me know that I have been doing this now for almost 14 years, all the way back from starting at a CNA level. So, so let's just the nursing has a toxic dark side that is sometimes under talked about, in my opinion. So let's talk about the nursing as a career itself. So the career of nursing is nursing is a 365, 24/7 business. Very few nursing jobs you will find are Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, a few days a week. Most nurses work at places like hospitals and nursing homes, home health. These entities do not close, so there constantly has to be nurses there. So with that being said, they're open every day of the year, holidays, weekends, birthdays, Christmas, Thanksgiving. There has to be a nurse on staff somewhere, and 9 times out of 10, a lot of you guys have worked through the holidays. So let's just talk about the how not being with your family on a holiday really kind of weighs on you over years. I remember the first time I had to work on Christmas. I was a CNA, and I was like, well, I kind of knew that I had to work on Christmas, but it just really did not hit me until the morning of. Like, Christmas came, and I was just like, oh, I gotta go to work. When, my family was posting pictures over my mom's house and everybody was having a good time and I was at work. Now, being that was the first time that had happened to me, it was like, oh, okay, well, I understand that I'm a CNA. The nursing home I was working at don't close. There has to be people there, but that absolutely wears and tears on you over some years. Imagine the nurse that has like little children who has to be at work at 6 a.m. who don't even get to see them open up their gifts that she spent the last several months buying them. So over time that kind of wears on you, like, for real. It really does. Working weekends and working holidays, missing out, time with your family, so that in itself can really weigh on you as a slight trauma of nursing. And a lot of nurses have like PTSD from a lot of, oh shit, I'm sorry you guys, I kicked my camera. Have PTSD from a lot of experiences dealing with nursing. So let's talk about another dark side of nursing, is the nurse ranking. So I had no idea. When I first became a CNA 14 years ago, I had no clue that there were different ranks of nurses. Like, I thought you were a nurse and that was it. I had no idea that there were LPNs. I had no idea that there was a thing as an RN. I didn't know that RNs could go on and get more advanced degrees. So one thing that I noticed when I first became a CNA is that there was a ranking thing in the profession, and it was very obvious. I got it right away because I noticed that, okay, so LPNs are better than CNAs. So the LPNs look down on CNAs, the RNs look down on the LPNs, and so on and so forth. So I immediately noticed this hierarchy of profession. And over time, I noticed how toxic it is. There's always this thing, like nurses feeling like they're too good to provide patient care or to clean up patients, or this is a CNA's job. It's that foolishness right there that really, made me realize of that nursing can be really toxic in that sense. You know, an LPN, oh no, I'm not going to do a CNA's job. Or then you have the LPNs and the RNs in this mysterious feud that I think Barry Vanessa touched on this subject in one of her videos a few years ago, a while ago, about how RNs and LPNs have like this underspoken, like, just controversy between themselves. And no lie, I noticed this. You know, when I was when I finally became a LPN, you know, the CNAs kind of made me feel some type of way, but then the RNs made me feel some type of way too. So it was just like, there's this toxicity in the leveling of nursing. Like, you know, oh, well, I'm an LPN, or well, I'm an RN. So then you have an RN who has her BSN, who thinks she's better than the RN, who just has her associates. Or you have the RN that has his or her master's degree, who thinks she's better than everybody else in the world. So it's like that toxicity in nursing can really be trying on you. Like, over time, it really makes you feel so insufficient and not enough, which is one of the reasons why I've always went back to school. Like, here I am sitting with a master's degree, because one deep part of me is always combating where I used to be. It's trying to be enough, and I think that is why there's this overhaul of everybody trying to get in school, you know, from, you know, all these LPN to RN programs, or RN to BSN programs, BSN to MSN programs, or doctorate programs. It's like it's not so much wanting to advance your career. It's just that it's like you've been told that you, regardless of whatever credential you have, you can always have more. And people have always looked down upon you for your lack of credentialing, you know. So it's like, even now, it's crazy to say that here I am now, I sit with a master's degree, and I still in some instance feel like, oh, okay, so I need to be working on my doctorate. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's that toxicity that really overtakes nursing. Let's talk about, like, and also the toxicity in different specialties. Now, I really noticed this when I started working in the hospital, how, you know, how the ER viewed med-surg nurses, or how med-surg viewed ICU nurses, or how ICU nurses viewed med-surg nurses. Like, I remember the first time I participated in a code at work, and at the hospital where I was employed, you had the code team, which the rapid response and code team, which were all ICU nurses, came to wherever the need was. And I just remember feeling, whenever the ICU nurses came into the room, I remember feeling so inadequate, because they were asking all these questions and just making you feel so stupid because you didn't think to do this. So it's like, instead of just working as a team and being, okay, guys, what have you guys done so far so we can document and we know how to move forward? Or, why didn't you guys do this? How did you guys not know to do that? Why doesn't she have any IVs? Like, it's just like it was just a very toxic environment that, you know, a lot of nurses that we combat ourselves against ourselves when we're supposed to be a team. So there's definitely friction between different nursing specialties, which can make nursing even more toxic. Nurses eating their young. You guys, I know you. So those you guys who are not familiar with that term, is basically says a nurse, or a new nurse, or a nurse new to either a unit or a specialty, comes in and is demeaned by other nurses working on the unit. This mostly happens to new grad nurses that are just out of school, who really don't know a lot, and are completely demeaned, and sometimes harassed by nurses on the unit, by, you know, making them feel stupid or making them feel less than, instead of helping them and being there to answer questions and concerns for the nurse. You demean, and make them feel terrible. Now, this is another thing that makes nursing so toxic. Prime example, my latest encounter with these nurses eating their young foolishness was, there was a nurse. She was, this was her second career. She was like maybe in her mid to late 30s. She came onto our unit. training. She was a brand new nurse, had only been out of school a few months, or had only passed her NCLEX a few months prior. She came to the unit. She at the hospital, you get 3 months orientation. If you need more time, you ask for more time and you'll get whatever you need. So the nurse had been in orientation for 3 full months, still did not feel like she was ready. She went to our supervisor and said, hey, I don't feel ready to be on my own yet. I feel like I need more time in orientation. Our supervisor gave her that. And the nurses on the unit almost like ate her alive for that. You know, I mean, this is me listening to these nurses talk to this girl like this, saying things like, you still don't know what you're doing? You still need more time in orientation? You know, we're working short. You mean to tell me that you've been doing this 3 months and you need more time? Like, making her feel terrible for us that. So she was basically bullied out of orientation because she felt so terrible. So she took her assignment and wasn't ready. And even then, they still talked about her, demeaned her, was not available for, to answer her questions. This poor girl had a terrible time. So it's just that in itself makes it so toxic. And it's this whole they gotta learn sometime mentality that makes the profession so toxic. And I keep using the word toxic because over time, it really will kill your spirit. So nurses eating their young is absolutely a dark side of nursing. Absolutely. Let's talk about nursing school for a little bit. And I was just thinking about this, and I was talking about this to my friend on nursing school, and specifically clinical. How dare you have me in clinical with 2 patients, right? Where I'm basically, the only thing I have to worry about in the entire assignment is taking care of these 2 patients. Knowing that I have the primary nurse is gonna deal with a lot of the crap that I don't have to. And all these other responsibilities as far as procedure and policies dealing with the hospital, how they deceive you into like, this is how it's gonna be. Seriously. And it's like, it's nothing like that. So it's like you get out of nursing school, you've been in clinical, you've been in all your clinicals. You know, the most I had in any of my clinicals were 2 patients. And the only thing I was really responsible for was doing my head-to-toe assessment and giving my patients medicines and maybe any other things that my nursing instructor would allow me to do. But it seemed that after I got out of school and really started to be a nurse on the floor, I felt bamboozled. I felt lied to. Like, I feel like this is not how it's supposed to go. You know, I'm supposed to have all this support and all of these resources, and I don't have them. And it's like, okay, so I'm going to give you this farce, this false sense of security while you're in nursing school, and when you get out of nursing school, you thinking that it's going to be this way, and it's not. And if you need more support or if you need more time, you are, scrutinized for that. So that is a dark side, a toxic side of nursing. And then also, too, let's just talk about if you guys make it this long in the video, I know this video is 13 minutes and I didn't want it to be very long, but if you think about what we do for a living, we care for people. We see people in ways they don't need to be seen, okay? That weighs on you more than you know, and it really burdens your soul, in my opinion. Some of the things that I've witnessed working 36 or 48 hours a week are things that should not be witnessed by other human beings. It's only so much human despair and emotion that you can really deal with before it starts to have an adverse on your own health. You know, some of the things that I've seen, I can never forget. It's things that are ingrained in my brain. So it's just like, you're supposed to deal with these things and go do this and go do that, and make sure you do this and make sure you do that, and make sure your whiteboard is filled out, make sure you give proper discharge education to this patient, make sure you document all the wounds on this admission, make sure you supervise all the CNAs, make sure the patients eat this, make sure this patient is doing this, monitor this patient's blood pressure. You're doing all of that in the 12-hour shift. You can't possibly get it done. And leaving your shift every day, witnessing what you've witnessed for 12 hours, and knowing that you feel inadequate because you are given the responsibility to do something that it is impossible for you to do. So leaving work every day with that on your heart can absolutely cause PTSD, and your own depression and your mental health suffers within itself. So one thing I've always said is that nursing is not, it's truly an art. And when I say nursing is something that you have to be gifted, nursing is something that is truly a calling. And I say that, you know, knowing that there is a very intellectual part of nursing, knowing that there's a lot of, and you know, here I am, an academic nurse. I have a master's in nursing. So I understand that nursing is very academic, but it is also a very intrinsic thing that I believe that you are sent to earth with. Not nothing that you can acquire. You can acquire the book knowledge of nursing and the intellectual aspect of nursing, but nursing is truly an art, and it is something that you have to be gifted. And I've seen a lot of nurses go into it for reasons other than what you are supposed to. It's supposed to be a gift. It is supposed to be something that you are intrinsically placed on this earth to do. It is a calling. It is a calling, you all. It's something to be said about, and you can just watch the way a nurse maneuvers through the unit or how she cares for his or her patients. Rather, it's a calling versus I'm just doing this as a means to make money or as a job, because you won't do it well. I remember one time, this video is getting so long, I'm so sorry. There was one time a nurse gave my supervisor a letter about me, or how good of a job I had done. Mind you, I remember this patient. This patient was so sick, and I remember feeling so inadequate that day because I just could not make this lady well in my 12-hour shift. So when I left my shift, I felt terrible about it because I felt like she was just as sick as she was when I got there when I left. So a few weeks went by, she wrote a letter to my supervisor saying that Adam was such a good nurse. She said that Adam made me forget I was sick. And I remember that this has been years ago, but I just remember that, and that was probably one of the best compliments a patient has ever given me. She said, Adam made me forget I was sick. And I remember her because we laughed and we talked and in the room, and I mean, she was sick physically, but I remember we laughed and we talked, but I couldn't make her feel any better when I left 12 hours later. So I felt defeated. But when she wrote that letter, because she later thankfully discharged. I was off for a few days and she discharged and wrote that letter to my supervisor. And she said that, you know, Adam made me forget I was sick. So that's how I know that this is why I've been put on this earth. And I may not be able to be a nurse in the capacity that I always have thought I was able to be one, but God sent me here to serve and to serve his people in any way I know how. And that's how I know it's a calling.